Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 25 of Around the Kingdom, a Disney Magic Kingdoms podcast by a guy whose brew is not from LeFou. Coming to you from the Beast Castle, I am your host, Steve Squirrel, and joining me this week in person is my good friend, Patreon, and very active member of the show's community, Kathy Clawson, a.k.a. The Claw.
Hi, everyone.
Hey, Kathy. Thank you so much for sitting next to me here, and we're hanging out. It's very cool. We're down in the studio, and it's really nice to have you here for our first in-person get-together. So
I love the debut. I'm happy to be here, Steve.
Well, and thank you to each and every one of you out there for joining us this week as we explore the wonderful world of Disney Magic Kingdoms. We have a lot of new listeners who've just joined us and just started listening to the show. I want to say how awesome it is to have you all here. Thanks for joining us and being a part of this community. Before I get started, I want to give a big shout out to our Patreons, Carrie Schumann, Anita Anderson, the girl next to me, Honeybee, and Kira. It's because of your continued support that we're able to do all the fun things we're able to do. We're really trying to make our first show goal, and we need your help. So if you're able to support the show, please check out our Patreon page at patreon.com/AroundTheKingdom. And if you want to be more involved with the show, you can join our Facebook group or follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and now YouTube. It's a great way to stay in touch with me and the community of the show. The links to everything will be in the show notes and can also be found on the show's main Facebook page. The Kingdom's always changing, so for reference, this show is being recorded Wednesday, March 27th at around 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All right, that is it. We're good to go. That is the introductions. They're out of the way. It is now time to talk about our weeks in the kingdom. What do you got for me this week, Kathy?
You know, Steve, when I started preparing for the show and having you come on board, I was like, wow, it's a really big week. I defeated Shere Khan.
That's great.
And then I kept going. So now I'm working on welcoming Wendy Darling in addition to Shere Khan. And I did, no surprise to you, purchase the $14.99 bundle to get Hook, the Jolly Roger, and the 100 Gems. So I'm well set on that storyline. I also should note I have Tink at level 10 already from way back. Way back.
Well, yeah, we actually just were in the community talking. Someone had brought up about the Hook bundle. And it was definitely an is it worth it bundle to get because Hook is worth it by itself. The Jolly Roger is worth it by itself. Yes. And there's no opportunity in this game to ever buy Elixir.
Yeah.
Elixir is the holy grail item in this game.
Yes.
Even more so than gems. So if you look at it, really, a premium character being $9.99 is the typical price you'd spend for the late game premium characters. This bundle being $14.99, you can look at it as basically you're paying $5 for an attraction, which costs 30,000 Elixir, which I had to spend. I spent the 30,000 Elixir on it.
Then I have it now.
So right, so $5 for 30,000 Elixir is a bargain. So that is the absolute yes. For is it worth it? So awesome job on that.
Yeah, and I rarely think about the is it worth it. I'm usually a click and go. So yeah, and I'm also actually ready to welcome Tia Dalma, but I'm at the question of should I? Because as you know, I'm now in the part of the storyline that just eats up magic by the hundreds and hundreds of thousands.
Yes.
So I'm considering stopping everything to save up for both the 2 million and 3 million plot of land, as I recently did a reorg and I have 11 attractions sitting there in my storage.
Yeah, that's a lot to have in storage.
Yeah.
And you even mapped everything out and did it all. You still have 11 attractions.
Still have 11.
Stored. That's a lot of storage. So land is definitely valuable. I remember it's funny because my week in the kingdom has slowly got you have big weeks, you have small weeks, but where the point in the game where you're at now, so much happens so quickly with land unlocking and new characters unlocking and spending hundreds of thousands of magic at a time and building new attractions that I remember just having those long weeks. And you get a lot of attractions too, because you get all the Jungle Book attractions very quickly. Did you get the Pirates of the Caribbean attraction yet?
Yes, I have it.
So that comes, that was $500,000 just to drop on that. So your land, which is already a premium, becomes even more so when you get all this extra stuff.
Yeah, and as of the latest patch release, I have 4 plots that are not yet open. So I think I am going to hold off and at least get the 2 million, so that way I'll be earning more magic more quickly with the attractions out there. So
Sure, yeah.
And then I took your advice from last week's podcast, and I've been working on leveling up my Tangled characters. So Rapunzel's at 10, Mother Gothel 9, so very good there. Flynn 7, Maximus is at 7. And then I've been also trying to focus on the Aladdin characters kind of in between so that I have a nice mix of people collecting tokens.
Okay.
Pre-Tower event, I definitely did a big oops and up-leveled all of my Beauty and the Beast and Alice in Wonderland characters.
I think everyone did.
Yeah,
everyone did.
You know, and then I went to get Coco and I was like, conflicts.
Yes.
Yeah. And then I do have a couple that I've been every now and again focusing on maxing out to 10. So Zurg, Sully, Rafiki, Judy Hopps. So I think I'm in good shape with a good many of those storylines. And I know you always ask, so I was prepared, Steve. So I'm level 46 at Lifetime Visitors Board, 200,765.
Oh, so close.
So close. And then I've been playing for 152 days. So to give people a perspective of kind of where I am from a timing perspective.
You know, that's a darn good question because I don't even know how many days I have consecutively. Now, I'm going to look at it right now. 270. And 270 consecutive, 270 total. So I've logged in every day since I started playing. So yeah, I'm getting up in there, moving a little bit faster than I did. So that's great to know. So it sounds like you've had an awesome week.
I have.
Get Mother Gothel to 10.
Yeah.
You got to work on finish her off because the last thing you want to do is have a balanced character with legendary tokens.
Oh, I know.
That you have to deal with. That is definitely not something that is going to be fun. So great, awesome. Looks like you had a great week. My week in the kingdom was really fun too. I've been talking about it for a while. I still have not done anything with Shere Khan or Wendy. They've been like on deck and kind of being hold off for a while. I did make the decision to go ahead and welcome Wendy though.
Okay.
I'm going to bring her into the kingdom, but I've been rolling this week with leveling up Hook. My characters are out. They're doing their thing. His drops are happening. And he's the only character I have for the Chapter 3 Peter Pan slot.
Oh,
So there's the choice of bringing Wendy in and having her low level, but then she might conflict with Hook's tokens.
Right.
So I've decided I'm going to try to get Hook to 10. I'm actually pretty close. So once I do that, I'm going to hit the button and go. But I also I have other people. I'm really trying to focus on Chapter 3. We'll talk about that more in a little bit, but I want to get the prize at the end of Chapter 3. So I've been working on leveling up. So here, for example, just to talk about who I've been leveling up, I did some level 2 people that to level up. So I got Roz, I got Mad Hatter, Alice, Boo. But then I've really also been focusing on the Chapter 3. I got King Louis twice.
Oh.
He's actually leveling up for the third time right now. Actually. I've just been plowing through his tokens. Tiadama is had her leveled up twice. Hook twice, and Beast I just brought to 10.
Beast is to 10 for me, so I'm in good shape there.
Yeah, so it feels good to have that featured character locked in at 10. It really gives you a little bit more of a sense of confidence when you're going into that chapter. Yeah,
as you're rattling off these characters, I'm like, oh, maybe I need to go back and relook at some of my strategy for this week.
Yeah, no, going back, looking at tower challenges. I mean, you've been playing a lot less days than me. I've had my characters in those situations, so it just takes time. And it's one thing you have to think of out there. If you're listening, if you've only been playing for as long as Kathy or just a couple of months. You're going to struggle in these later parts of the chapter. You got to understand that it's going to just take time. You're going to have to just know that there's going to be another challenge will await. But even so, I think you still got a pretty good shot.
I do, and we'll talk about the tower event in a bit.
Yes.
But yeah.
So what else did I do this weekend? Or this week I hit level 50.
Woo!
2 gems, not just 1 gem. 2 gems, yes, and 1,500 magic. So, yep, if they ever do anything with levels, I'm one level higher than I was previously. And lifetime visitors board 121,913. We did it.
Yeah.
We broke into the top 125,000, top 100,000. Here we come. I think you'll break into the top 200,000 before me.
I think so. Yeah.
But yeah, awesome. So that was my week. It's been a pretty good week. So I hope everyone out there, I hope you've all had a good week in the kingdom. And we always want to hear about it. So make sure you are joining our Facebook group. Make sure you keep in touch with us on Twitter at ATK Podcast and Facebook.com/ATK Podcast.
Well, the Facebook group has been fantastic. I've found so many nice little spreadsheets. I'm a data person. I love the data that help you track your characters, where they are for the levels, which has been really good. There's tips and tricks around token conflicts. So there's so many great resources that our group is posting for each other. Land layouts, it's amazing.
Yeah, this week's really, people have gone to the next level. There's been a couple of members in the group who've really tried to step things up and get files and links posted and all this great stuff. This girl, Danielle, in the group, she's been fantastic because she made a little list of all the links for stuff to get. So, as I said from the beginning, this show that I've made from the ground up as a community show, and our Facebook group is really just an awesome community. So if you want to be part of a small community and really, where no one's whining and no one's complaining and everyone's just kind of out there to help each other, join the group. And if you are someone who whines and complains, then there's lots of other groups for you out there. But all right, so now we're going to move into the newcomer tip of the week. But before we do, I just want to mention one thing real quick. As I mentioned on Twitter and Facebook, we have a big announcement about a giveaway. We have something really, really cool coming. So stay tuned. And a little bit later in the show, we're going to talk about that. Something magical or legendary might be coming your way. All right, Kathy, newcomer tip of the week.
All right, my newcomer tip of the week is related to maintaining your happiness. So there was a Wish Granter challenge that happened during the Princess of the Frog event, and someone posted a picture of all of their smiley faces bouncing around Main Street, and I was just like, wait a minute, you don't have to click them as soon as you get them. I'm a habitual clicker. I want them now and have them. So I took a little time to break the immediate click habit. So every now and again I get it, or that my son would go and get it too. But now I have ample smiley faces, especially for the morning when I wake up and my happiness level is dipped. I'm always able to get it back up into the 90s. And then related to that, sometimes I actually don't open chests at night if I don't have anything to put up on the pedestal to bake, so that I can open it in the morning so that the chest actually bumps my happiness up and I leave my smiley faces where they are and running around. That way, when a Wish Granter event comes, I'm all set. And then another tip that has saved me stress more than anything is the ever hovering over a chest, because I found out that it's already predetermined. So, I was one that was like, okay, I'm waiting for the graphic to come up, and so I hit it, and yeah, so now there's much less stress about opening chests. Yes. Because it's all predetermined.
Everything is predetermined. The second that your chest hits the pedestal while it's cooking, it is set in stone what it is. That was a change made a while back to prevent people from cheating, and I'm glad that they instituted that, because cheating is not good. So yeah, you don't have to sit there and worry about clicking it.
Yeah,
that's good. I do the same thing with the chests. If I don't have anything, I always open one bronze one at night, because at night is when I do my 2 gems from Main Street, where I do my 2 ads, and then I get my 1 free bronze chest by watching an ad. So I do open 1 bronze every night to kind of like as part of my ritual.
Right.
But if I have like a silver chest or whatever, like I'll throw those up and I'll leave them there if I don't need the happiness, because you're just wasting happiness. Yeah. If you're not running out of space.
Yeah. And did you know that you could watch ads to get magic?
Yes.
I found that out the other day too.
Yes, that was actually way back in one of the original episodes when I started. Back when I was a newcomer, it was my newcomer tip of the week, because I watched the ads for Magic religiously because back
Oh yeah.
back then, you know, the 50 or 100 Magic, you could watch like 6 or 8 of them.
Yeah.
That really added up. Like, I looked at me like, I was like, if I do this, you know, all week, if I watch these, you know, and you're not really watching them, you're kind of just, you know, then that's one person leveled up that I covered, you know. At this point, when you've been playing as long as we have, it's not really worth, like, the 100 Magic or so. 115, yeah. For newer players, absolutely. If you're a newer player and you're just kind of working your way out, go into the Magic section where you could purchase it, and at the top, there's a little
left,
there's a little tab that says watch an ad for Magic. So you can watch it like 8 times. So let's say 800 Magic a day.
Yeah.
So 10 days, that's 8,000 Magic. You can level up a couple people using that money.
Yes.
Or Magic. So, all right. Awesome. Great stuff. Thank you very much for that. That is our newcomer tip of the week. Awesome stuff. Now it is time to move on into the game news. But one thing I wanted to mention, and a great point that one of our listeners actually brought up to me this week, is that I was talking about recommendations last week for when we were discussing the balancing changes. I was saying, all right, these are the people that you need to target. I mean, you had mentioned, you know, about Rapunzel characters. You know, I had mentioned them. I had mentioned Snow White. But her name, and I'm sorry if I mess it up, is Afsan, or Afshan. She reminded me that Eve and Wall-E also have very, very low token requirements, probably like the 1 per level. And I overlooked them because I've had them both level 10 forever because they're so easy to level up.
Right.
So if you have Eve or Wall-E, those are definite musts for targeting to try to get them to 10 because I agree they will be balanced at some point in the near future.
Yeah, and Evie's great. She drops a lot of tokens for a lot of different people.
Not only does she do that, but both of them are huge for tower challenges.
Yeah.
I mean, Wally and Eve are half of one slot in this tower challenge, so why not, you know? But all right, very cool. So let's move on into the news. All right, so the Tower Challenge has begun. Since the last show, the Tower Challenge has officially begun. Last week we talked about the Dumbo content being introduced. Neither Kathy nor myself has gotten to the Dumbo content portion of the game. Next week, my guest Carrie will be joining me, and she definitely has gotten to this point. And she's a huge Dumbo fan, so we will be getting a little bit deeper into the discussion of the Dumbo content next week. But for now, we will talk Tower Challenge. So LeFou was, we already knew that he was going to be the grand prize. That was already announced, so that wasn't a surprise. But we got to learn about what he needed. So in order to welcome LeFou, you need 30 mugs. They are 200, from the first chapter, 200 EC each for a total cost of 6,000 event currency. Then the chapter 2 brings bow ties, like they're like neckerchiefs kind of things.
A little scarf.
Yeah, and you need 25 of those at 500 EC each, which is chapter 2, for a total cost of 12,500 EC. And then chapter 3 is going to bring 20 LeFou ears. And they're going to be at 650, speculated at 650 for a total cost of 13,000 event currency. You're going to need an additional 2,500 event currency to welcome. So a total of 34,000 event currency needed to get the grand prize of the LeFou. So what do we know here? He costs less than Cricky.
Okay. That is true.
He costs less than Cricky. There were a lot of comparisons about this Tower Challenge compared to the last one because everyone was complaining how hard the last Tower Challenge was. And then again, not only did you need to unlock Cricky, but then you had the Mad Dash for the comfy costume at the end. So in general, just looking at numbers of event currency and stress level or difficulty, it seems they dialed this down from a 12 back to like a 9, you know, which is at least in normal parameters of what a Tower Challenge should be. A couple of things to note about the main character. This goes for all of the characters that you're trying to get at the end of a Tower Challenge. So a lot of people say don't, if you're not sure if you're going to unlock LeFou, don't buy his tokens until the very end, and then when you can purchase them all. They will be available to purchase for the entire challenge. So if you don't need to purchase the mugs in Chapter 1 or the bow ties in Chapter 2, you can purchase everything at the end. This way, you know, you don't waste event currency.
That's actually my plan of attack. I've taken a step back to not stress myself out about this tower challenge. So what I'm going to do is wait till the last day, and then I'll start and work backwards and buy his ears, all of his ears, and then I'll buy all of his bow ties. And then if I know I'm good, I'll keep going. So that way, you know, assuming Disney does what they've always done, or Gameloft, excuse me, that they end up putting the character sometime eventually in a legendary chest, then I will probably do what I always do and buy the chest.
Yeah, no, and typically the ears are for the grand prize characters are legendary. The token for them is epic, and then the big thing here again is that the mugs, which are the Chapter 1, they go away. They will not be a part of the character's progression after the Tower Challenge is over. They turn into the Rose, in this case, which is the Beauty and the Beast common token. So if you spend any sort of event currency on those mugs and then you don't use them, they're gone. It's a waste of event currency. So don't do that. All right. So yeah. So that's pretty much it on the notes on him. So anything that you have that you want to bring up about him specifically before we get into the Chapter 1? Or?
No, I kind of agree with Daniel. He's a fun character. Daniel from last week of the podcast. Yeah. He's a fun character. He was fun in the movie. It's a nice ad. You know, it's definitely nice to kind of round out that series.
Yeah, I really liked him in not only the cartoon, but in the remake that they just did with Josh. I never remember his last name. This guy who did Olaf. You know, he's just a fun character himself. So he brought the character to life a lot. So yeah, I'm happy that he's an addition to the kingdom. I think it was a great idea.
Agree.
Okay, so let's talk about the chapters. Chapter 1 began, and it went from March 21st to March 25th. And Big Hero 6, as we mentioned last time, was the featured collection. The featured character was Hero, and if you didn't have him, you were able to purchase him for 1,750 event currency, which seems really high. I feel like the tower challenges in the past, and I don't have any numbers in front of me, I feel like they were like, Chapter 1 was like 500, or like 1,000, or something, even, you know, I felt like maybe it was like 500 Chapter 1, 1,000 Chapter 2, like I didn't feel like 1,750. That's a lot for a featured character. So, but again, you know, if you're a newer player, you don't have this character, you're able to purchase it, which is great that you have the opportunity to purchase a new character. Big Hero 6 is their first time being the main collection for a tower challenge. So this is the first time Hero is being introduced to people to be purchased. So that was nice.
Yeah. And I already had him because we've already established I've bought over Christmas, over the holidays when they had all of the sales. I really, really amped up my characters during that time frame.
I did too. With the double sale,
yes,
I couldn't say no to 20% off and 20% off on top of that.
Yeah.
But actually, I started at the Big Hero 6 event 1 week before the Big Hero 6 event, so I actually had and I completed it. So I already had Hero from the event. So the featured attraction was the Lucky Cat Cafe. And that was 500 event currency, which is kind of what we would expect for the featured attraction. Then they always make the first premium character, they put them back in a bundle. So Go-Go was the premium character during the event. So you were able to purchase Go-Go for $3.99, and it included the Baymax bow stand. So cool. It's pretty typical stuff. And Go-Go turned out to be a Coco collector.
Yeah, she is.
So she was a very valuable premium character to purchase at the beginning of a tower challenge, because you always want the refreshers right at the beginning.
Well, especially when you don't have a lot of people at level 10. That's important.
Yes. So, very, very good buy. Cool character, good buy. However, her tokens are conflicts with her own Coco. Yeah, I don't get that. They were just kind of mean with the conflicts this go around. Okay, yeah, so, all right. So, normally I bring this kind of stuff up at the end of the show. We talk about all these bundles, but I figure we might as well talk about them while we're going through the chapters. So, magical chests were available also during this chapter. You got one that we talked about how the first day of each chapter, according to the famous Chinese hackers, the leak showed that we would be getting one as our daily reward prize. Right. So we got one magical chest, and then we got two as a reward for points. But the magical chests were in this chapter. They were on sale for $6 for $2.99. They contained the Dumbo hat stand in this chapter. They also had event currency, Coco, happiness, Dumbo decorations, and tokens for the characters fighting the tower in Chapter 1. I will just put a reminder out that the Dumbo hat stand is not guaranteed.
Do you speak from experience, Steve?
I bought too many of these hat stands. I don't want to go into it. I bought too many. I got the hat stand, but it's not guaranteed. Okay. Anyway, moving on. Also, as usual, during a tower challenge, the featured collection, the Big Hero 6 legendary chests, become available. They're 60 gems each, or the usual price for 6 for $9.99, and they will be available for the duration of the tower challenge. All right, so anything so far? Big Hero 6 kind of stuff, anything you want to talk about?
Yeah, you know, the tower challenge this time around, I kind of promised myself I wouldn't do a lot of gemming and a lot of extra purchases this time around. I kind of wanted to see how I did without doing any of that. The last tower challenge, you know, I was definitely like, oh, let's go faster. I bought a lot of chests. I took advantage of all the deals. And, you know, this time I'm kind of like, all right, especially because I started playing during the tower challenge, midway through the tower challenge for the mayor.
Wow.
So then I was like, the mayor, oh my gosh, how do I get him? And of course, like I had no idea how a tower challenge worked. I had no, you know, I completely fell short of actually getting the mayor. Although I recall, I think I got Aladdin out of that deal. And so this time taking it easy. And so that's where, you know, I haven't kind of been paying a lot of attention to the gems. Plus, I already have a lot of these other characters. So I'm in good shape from that regard.
Good. Awesome. Yeah. All right. So for this chapter, the helpers were Mickey and Friends in slot 1, Toy Story, Cinderella characters, Big Hero 6, and then, of course, the featured character was Hero. All of these characters we knew ahead of time due to the... actually, no, I'm sorry. Chapter 1, we did not know the characters. We didn't get the leaks until right after the Tower Challenge began. We
only knew about Hero.
We only knew about Hero, and we didn't even know what characters would be there, which is interesting. We usually get this information kind of ahead of time leaked. We did get Chapter 2 and Chapter 3 leaked. Those were available on our site as soon as we got them. But, yeah, it was pretty standard stuff. Nothing here was surprising. Nothing here was out of the ordinary. The characters, you know, that were just balanced were in there. So it wasn't too much of a shock there. The progress rewards were, again, event currency, magical chests, and then this is where we're going to stop and talk for a moment. So the progress, when you're a more experienced player and when you have a lot of the content, one of the things that you are looking forward to in a tower challenge are the progress rewards and the featured character that you get at the end. Typically, you get a new stand, a concession, at the end of each chapter. And what they would do is they would put, you know, whatever content was released or something to that nature, or new stands to be enticing.
Right.
I just fully expected that the Dumbo hat stand would be one of the chapters, probably chapter 3.
I think a lot of people thought that.
The peanut stand and the slushy stand would be the chapters. Now, we go back to Princess and the Frog event, and one of the things that was interesting is that the way that you collected concession, or the way you got the green cream soda stand as well as some of the decorations was through
the chests,
which was a little bit different and was not well received by the community, especially myself. I had the opportunity throughout that whole event. I must have opened 15 chests, and I didn't get that green cream soda stand. I'm still, yes, a little salty and bitter to this day about it. Even more, because I was getting the daily one for 25. I was getting rewards. I was getting all sorts of stuff. So they had changed that format. So now, as I had mentioned before, the Dumbo stand was in the magical chests again. There were only 3 magical chests available to you for free in this whole chapter. There's your 1 daily reward, and then your 2 for your milestone reward. So the probability of you getting it in 3 chests is low. It's technically a 4% drop rate. So that's why I would kind of expect this new content, which everyone's so excited about, to be a featured reward. But it's not. It's in chests, which has a lot of people not happy, including myself. So the reward at the end of Chapter 1 is the Disney Magic Kingdom's first anniversary hat stand. And we'll just jump ahead so we can talk about it. And it's bundled. Chapter 2 is the Disney Magic Kingdom's second anniversary hat stand. Now, people just got the third anniversary hat stand for play. I had brought this up on a previous show, and it's time I discuss it again. The hat stands were available a little while ago. They had a big concession stand sale. And they were available for like 50 gems each, and every hat stand was available. Okay. Some of them were cool.
St. Patty's Day, I considered.
Right, but there were some cool ones. Like the Peter Pan hat stand, I thought was cool. The Captain Hook hat stand, I thought was cool. But those have less significance, I would say. At least I as far as I know, as to the anniversary hat stands. And I did buy them. I fully admitted that I bought them because I got excited. I was like, "Ooh, these I don't have them." I bought them. I put them in my park, and I looked at them, and I said, this doesn't feel right. I've played many games where you get something for being around at a certain time or doing a certain event or a certain activity, and it's exclusive.
It makes it special.
It makes it special. And I always talk about Hearthstone as the other game that when I reference things, certain card backs, they give you different decoration card backs, which is basically the same thing as a concession stand in this game. You only get for certain times, and they won't make them available again. And they're kind of like a sense of pride.
Right.
You can show off your card back when you play, or, in a video, or whatever it is. I feel like these hat stands, and I polled the community. I had a big question in our Facebook group of, what are your thoughts about the event? What are your thoughts about the cassette? And hat stands came up over and over and over again. Most people were not happy they were available. 1 or 2 people, maybe. But for the most part, now there's so many reasons why, too. There's the reasons that I said, which is I just don't I feel like there should be special, right? But let's think about it in another way. Let's say you're a player who's been playing all 3 years, okay? You already have the first anniversary hat stand. You already have the second anniversary hat stand. What are you shooting for as a progress reward in these first 2 chapters?
Nothing.
You've already got them. So they're not...
Wait, you could trade them in for magic?
No, you can't trade them. Well, you can spend a lot of magic. And
forget Merlin.
A lot of magic.
Two.
To get 2 elixir. Okay, so let's think about it for a moment. If this stand was 1,000 elixir, right?
Yeah.
It was exclusive, so they give you lots of trade in, right? Then I could see people being like, all right, I already got this. It kind of stinks that I'm getting another one, but you know what? 1,000 elixir?
Worth it.
Not too bad.
Yeah.
Right? But it's 2 elixir. So the people, the thing that you're trying to, there are two things you're trying to tailor tower challenges to. There's the newer players to get the
new content.
The new content.
Yep.
You get a couple of characters, a couple of attractions. Then you have the veteran players who get the 3 rewards for each chapter, plus they get the featured character at the end, right? Well, now 2 of those 3 they already have.
Right.
Or, in my opinion, I wouldn't put them in my park. So I think that the anniversary hat stands were a bad way to go as far as putting them in here. And I also think that it was very disappointing that the Dumbo content was not available in as these rewards, and that we had to go other ways to do it. At least make the Dumbo ears, which is the one that everyone really wanted, make that your chapter 3, right? Or like, this is LeFou, right? LeFou's Brew.
Yeah, you want his brew stand.
It was a stand.
Yeah,
it exists. Like, why is his stand not a part of this event? So I think that the planning around this could have been better. And I think that there was just a lot of disappointment around it, and from a lot of different perspectives. Yeah,
and I'm with you in terms of the anniversary hat stand. So obviously, I've earned the 3rd year. The other 2, it's, to me, it's bad juju to put them in my park, right? It's kind of like I run races, marathons, and half marathons. Like, you don't wear the shirt unless you run the race, right? So it's the same theory for me, that I won't put it in my park. I'll probably just leave it in storage, given that it's 2, or what are 2 Berlin.
And it's going to cost you like a lot of magic.
I know. So yeah, I tend to agree. Which, again, another reason why I'm kind of no stress about this. I get what I get out of this this tower challenge.
So that's my thoughts on the Disney Magic Kingdom's hat stands as progress rewards. I'd love to hear more what you think. We have a big discussion going on in Reddit in the Facebook group. So join the group. Links are on our Facebook page. They're all in the show notes. Hit us up on Twitter, all over the place. Definitely want to hear what you have to say about this. But all right, let's move on. So also, the last thing to talk about, well, not the last thing, but also the side quests opened up in Chapter 1. The side quests started with Hero. They're the Big Hero 6 side quests. My suggestion, as always, for the people is that they don't need to be done in Chapter 1. So
good tip. I didn't know that.
They don't need to be done in Chapter 1. They will stay there until the end of the Tower Challenge. So I did not do any of my Big Hero 6 side quests until Chapter 2 began, when I wasn't using Hero every 2 hours.
See, I missed out on that.
There's your newcomer tip of the week.
There it is.
Redo. Brought back. So yeah, you don't need to do them then. So I won't do my Alice ones until Chapter 3, and then I'll wind up doing my Beauty and the Beast ones, because you technically get more EC per hour if you break it down, but if you actually do Beast first and kind of do that. So I'll do it, but like I said, I'll hold off. You get more bang for your buck if you hold off on these chapters.
Oh, that's a great newcomer tip.
So what else did we learn in Chapter 1? We learned about the refresher tokens, which is always probably the very first thing you do. Like, I know as soon as the Tower Challenge begins, I click at the bottom, I click the Coco at the top, I see who the Coco collectors are, and then I start sending them out and seeing what conflicts I have. So that I can so that I could start taking them, and all of them. I mean, like Cheshire Cat, Alice was getting balanced, and man, I had a lot of hats to collect for him. He had 2 conflicts. He had one with Mrs. Potts and White Rabbit, and then I also had a conflict of grabbing a tea. So Go-Go's wheels also conflict with Go-Go. That's right. I was trying to level her up to get ready for the event, because we didn't know who was going to be the people in the challenge, going to the tower. And her wheels conflicted with herself. Yeah, and then I had other conflicts too. I can't even remember. I had Chip's saucers.
Oh.
Were a conflict. I think maybe that was my Mrs. Potts, and I think maybe Jessie or Tinkerbell had the Cheshire Cat. Yeah, but I know Chip was also one of the other conflicts I had. So there were lots of conflicts.
Well, and then I kept. I've lost my mind on this tower challenge. I again kept forgetting to go into the tower challenge, into the cocoa to start them from there. And then as I'm going through, clicking through and starting people, I can't tell you how many times I set people out for like 6-hour quests that then I conflicted myself with the cocoa. I was like, no.
Yeah. That's definitely what I always do is exactly what you said is go to the cocoa and send them out for there before you send anyone else out.
Before.
So you know that you're
clear the board, go to the cocoa. Yeah.
So if you're listening, one of the things that we do as a community is we get together. I get a list from the Reddit site, and then we also crowdsource and make sure that list is correct. I post that list on Facebook, on Twitter, and in our group of all of the cocoa conflicts. For anyone, you should not level up because you're going to cause conflicts with your cocoa. You want to stay away from these people from leveling during the tower challenge so that you can get as much cocoa production as possible. That's another big reason to join our community so that you have access to these lists day one, like within hours. Within an hour or 2 hours of the event starting, we usually have this stuff up. At least the beginning of a list. And then people are crowdsourcing it as well. So if I say, do this, and then someone else will be like, oh, add this character in. Yeah. I'll update it. We'll have it updated as
you do
as
that
possible.
for the events too. So I actually end up screenshotting it so then I'm able to have it on my phone with me with my game.
Yeah, and you set it as your wallpaper too, right?
No,
you do that also. Okay. But yeah, so make sure that you do that as well. So that's chapter 1. So let's wrap up chapter 1. What were your thoughts on chapter 1? Did you complete chapter 1? And did what's
the no stress approach? And I did complete chapter 1. I didn't spend one gem. I didn't speed a single person up. I actually don't have hero at 10. I think he's at 5 or 6. So I was pretty surprised that I finished it in advance, so it wasn't even down to the wire. Even the other big Hero 6 characters, I think Yokai, he's at 7, and he's my highest guy. So I was pretty happy that kind of the low stress approach worked.
Yeah.
So we'll see how I feel like I'm progressing fairly well on the. Well, we'll get to chapter 2. I'll hold there.
Good. Yeah. No, I felt chapter 1 was pretty smooth as well. My Big Hero 6 characters were all around 8 or 9. Actually, I'm sorry, but I did have Baymax at 10 and Honey Lemon at 10. So actually, I got pretty lucky with having 2 level 10 characters there. Hero was at 9. The other guys were at 8. So I felt pretty solid in that.
And I'm in good shape with all of my Mickey and Friends characters that were in there. They're all at 10. Yeah. All of my Toy Story are at 10. And Cinderella and Prince Charming are at 10. So those guys definitely helped me in this chapter.
Yeah.
Chapter 2!
Yeah. My lady Tremaine and Anastasia Drizella were not too hot, but I was able to kind of push through with them. But yeah, no, chapter 1... minus the hat stand fiasco, I would say it was a pretty smooth event.
Yeah.
I did like the storyline too.
Yeah.
For the hero, with the whole flights in the sky and the whole stuff. No spoiler. Well, this show does have spoilers, but anyway, I'm not going to get into it. It's a fun storyline though. So there's that. All right. Whew. Breather. Chapter 2. It is the Alice in Wonderland chapter. It started yesterday, March 26th, and it goes through the 30th. And so we are knees deep into the Alice in Wonderland chapter. The featured character, as we discussed last week from the Instagram clues, is the Mad Hatter. And if you did not have him, his purchase price was $17.50 EC. Again, higher than what I remember for past tower challenges. I thought it was 500, then 1,000, then I think it was like 2,000, but his was high. The featured attraction was the Golden Afternoon for 750 EC, which is what I believe was right on par with the previous ones, so nothing surprising there. The available premium character bundle was the White Rabbit. I wasn't around for the Alice in Wonderland event, so I did not know what the first premium character was, but it was the White Rabbit. And that bundle was $3.99 US, and that included the Unbirthday hat stand. The Unbirthday hat stand was not available to purchase with gems. I still do not have it. I did buy Alice chests a long time ago when they came out, and I never got the Unbirthday hat stand.
I think I might have it. I'll have to check that.
Yeah, it's a really cool looking.
Yeah, I'm fairly certain I have it.
I'm not a huge concession guy. There are some that I really love though. The Dumbo ears, I don't even want to talk about.
But you have it now.
I love it, absolutely love it. But the Unbirthday hat stand's really cool. I hope that they bring that back. I would have no problem buying that for 50 gems, and I would not feel player's remorse for that as well either. But okay, let's, again, talking about the chests. The Radiant chests are the chests for this chapter. We got one the day the chapter began, and 2 more available through the rewards. They are 25 gems each, or a bundle of 6 for $2.99, just like the magical chests. They contain the newest slushy stand, and then, of course, EC, Cocoa, Happiness, the Dumbo concessions and decorations. Well, it's actually just the Dumbo decorations.
Yeah.
And tokens for characters fighting in Chapter 2. And again, the Alice in Wonderland legendary chests then unlock. They unlocked yesterday, and are there 60 gems each, or the usual price of 6 for $9.99, and will be available for the next 9 days or so until the Tower Challenge is over. So that is what's going on there. I actually did get the slushy stand in my for my rewards. I didn't get it for my daily reward, but for my the 2 chests.
Yeah, for your progress.
For my progress, I did wind up cracking the slushy stand, which I guess fate owed me a favor on that one. But did you ever get? Did you get either of the stands? Did you get the Dumbo ears or?
I didn't get either of them. I kind of figured, I buy enough stuff over the time that eventually I will get it. But yeah. I'm kind of not a concession person. I'm a completionist, but not necessarily when it comes to the concession stands.
Yeah. See, I'm not going to get into it. I'm normally not, but there's certain ones I liked. But anyway, I could have done without the slushy stand, right? But anyway. All right, so the Tower Challengers, we learned about who they were going to be right around the beginning of Chapter 1, so we kind of knew what was going on. So you have the Toy Story Sleeping Beauty Challengers. So again, more balanced characters. Flora, Merryweather were part of that collection.
And thank goodness, because I actually, because of the balance, got them to 10 prior to that patch update coming out. So I was in good shape for that slot.
Yeah, I got them. I didn't get them to 10, but I got them both pretty high, much higher than they were.
No, Flora's still 9. Correction, she's still 9 because I'm still collecting hats.
Yeah. Okay, then the next one was the Toy Story Wall-E. So as we discussed before, Eve and Wall-E are half of this slot. So very good characters to have for Tower Challenges. Third slot is Monsters, Inc. And then there's the Alice in Wonderland, and of course the featured character of the Mad Hatter. The progress rewards, as we discussed, is EC, and then the 2 Radiant chests, and then the grand prize is the Disney Magic Kingdom 2nd anniversary hat stand. We've gone over that enough, so I'm not going to spend any more time on that. And then the side quests unlock for the Alice in Wonderland characters with this chapter as well.
And so Mad Hatter, White Rabbit, and Alice is the third one of that, because I didn't know I could wait.
Yes.
So Alice, I don't remember the reward you got for it, but I want to say it was a 4-hour challenge, so it wasn't too crazy long.
Okay. Yeah, it's usually Coco and EC.
Yeah. It was definitely Coco and EC, but yeah.
So yeah, so that's pretty much it for chapter 2. I mean, there's not much more to go over on that. We're kind of in the middle of it now. What thoughts on that? Or
well, again, I think I lucked out, Steve, on the Tower Challenge characters. That I had a good many at 10 that I wasn't expecting. So fingers crossed that'll put me in good shape. The Mad Hatter, again, similar to Tink, I got ages ago, and I was fortunate that I had him at level 8, knew that he was coming as a helper, so I got him to 9, and then like the day before this chapter started, I got him to 10. And I tell you, it was a little depressing, the number of hats I needed for that guy, but got him there. So I'm in good shape again. I think I actually just got I think I've passed the first 1,000 points. I may have even gotten the Radiant Chest. I wasn't paying too much attention, so I was clicking today. So yeah, I think I'm doing all right.
Good. And you completed. You got all the mugs for chapter 1. How?
I know I haven't bought them.
Oh, you haven't bought anything yet, right?
Right. So yeah, saving up to the end. So I think you've said that in the past that potentially, right, even if I don't get LeFou, then I still keep all of those tokens for whatever he does get introduced into the game.
Exactly.
So if it's a legendary token and I'm buying 20 of them, that's a pretty good deal.
It is a very good deal. All right, cool. Yeah, again, same thing for me. I have a pretty good lineup here. Not overly concerned, kind of just taking my time with it. Trying to make sure I keep everyone going out every 2 hours, as much as I can. I did one happy thing I forgot to mention for chapter 1 is I did get the Maleficent horn stand. It's my second hat stand of hers. I finished like top 20. I think it was like 17 or 18. So I was good. I'm kind of like around like rank. Been bouncing back in between like 9 and 15. So if I need to, I'm okay speeding up a little bit at the end, like doing a couple because I have a lot of extra cocoa refreshers right now. To try to get a 3rd one, that would be kind of cool. But yeah, so that's where I'm at. So no big things here with the Tower Challenge.
And the no stress approach has me in the 200s to 300. So I'm like in the 250s to maybe like 325. So for not doing much, it doesn't feel like it's too bad.
Yeah, no, I think the no stress approach is a good way to go, and I highly recommend it. Now, for chapter 3, we do have it posted on our social media. But the people that you're going to want to be looking at for chapter 3, the first slot's going to be Mickey, King Louis, the Ringmaster, and Teodalma, which is a very interesting quad for out there. I was very lucky that I was able to really work very hard on Louis and Teodalma over the last week. But these are hard characters. I mean, Ringmaster I'm not up to, so I will not have him. Mickey is obviously, a solid one. If you have Cocos, you can keep sending him. But King Louis and Tia are both pretty late game characters. So
yeah. Well, I'm sick. I could spend 300 magic to get Teodalma, but she'll be level 1. That's not really going to help a lot. So
not going to help a whole lot.
So like you said, I probably with that slot will just keep refreshing Mickey and sending him out because I do have a decent number of Coco. So I've had some good drops there.
Good. So the second slot is the Princess slot. You got Sleeping Beauty, Cinderella, Rapunzel, and Belle. Very happy. I have all them maxed out, so I feel good with that. Belle, I maxed out when I was talking about Beauty and the Beast. Before the balancing, I had called Beauty and the Beast as one of the sets to be balanced, and so I was working on Belle.
Yeah.
Got her to 10 during that time, so I was pretty happy to be in that slot. Slot 3, wowzer, the Peter Pan slot. And Tinkerbell is not invited to this party. It's Hook, Peter Pan, and Wendy Darling.
That makes me very sad that Tink is not invited to that party.
Yeah, it makes everyone a little sad because everyone's got Tink at 10. I got Captain Hook with my Sapphire chest, and he kind of was sitting at like 6 for a while. Like, you know, I wasn't really doing much with him, so I wasn't spending the time to level him up. But I've been busting my chops with him, and I should have him to 10 before Chapter 3 begins. He will be so full of cocoa. He's going to be bursting marshmallows out of his ears. He's going to be hooked on cocoa.
Oh, yeah.
Come for the dad jokes.
Stay for the tips.
Stay for the tips. And then of course you have the Beauty and the Beast. So it's going to be Beast is the featured character, and then Cogsworth, Chip, Gaston, and Lumiere will be your helpers as well. And again, I just got Beast to 10, so I'm feeling good about that as well. So those are the people you need to focus on. Again, this is if you're ever looking for this kind of information, check out our social media. We post it up as fast as we can. And that is that. So you can expect to get whatever chest, the ruby chests. We get one on the 31st when Chapter 3 begins. I assume you'll probably get 2 more when as a milestone reward.
Yeah,
Most likely it will have the popcorn stand. It's the one stand we haven't seen yet from the Dumbo collection. Mm-hmm. And then the cup of tea is going to be the final reward for that chapter, which is what we found out at the beginning of the
or as Daniel likes to call it, the chip stand.
The chips. It does look like Chip.
It does look like Chip.
It does look like Chip, yes. So, yeah. So that's it. So that's it. Anything else on the tower challenges before we are done here?
No, when they announced it, I was like, oh, another challenge. But it really hasn't been as stressful, as bad as I thought it was going to be. I thought I could use a bigger break than but you know, it's been good. I've enjoyed it. Now, everything that you've said about the stands, totally agree with. So, you know, we'll see. I'll check back in with you and the group to see if the no stress approach does get me LeFou.
Okay, we will see. I'm excited to see. All right, so let's pause for a second and talk about giveaway time. Yes, Around the Kingdom has a giveaway, and we're going to be giving away 3 legendary chests to 1 winner. And the legendary chests you'll be getting are a mystery. We will not be telling you what they are, but the grand prize is 3 legendary chests. So, how do I win these? How do I get these awesome magical chests in my game? We're going to be playing a game, okay? And what this game is, it's going to be, what is the secret phrase? So the secret phrase is going to be 5 words. And these 5 words are going to be a famous phrase from a Disney character. And we're going to have 1 word on this week's show, 1 word on next week's show. And in between these 2 shows, there's going to be 3 words, probably 2 that we'll put on Facebook, and 1 on our main Facebook page, and then 1 on our Twitter. And what you'll need to do is take these 5 words and scramble them to, up to figure out what the phrase is. Once you figure out what the phrase is, there'll be a link to a Rafflecopter entry where you go in, you type in your email address and the phrase, and as long as you have the phrase correct in the correct order, your entry will count, and then a winner will be picked at random next Friday. I believe that's the 5th. Right? Yes, next Friday the 5th. So you want to make sure to listen to this week's show, which you're already doing, and next week's show. And you'll want to stay tuned and follow us at facebook.com/ATK Podcast and Twitter, or at ATK Podcast on Twitter. Now, remember, don't tell people if you figure it out, okay? Don't be like, oh, I figured out the secret phrase. And then start telling everyone, because that means that these people are going to know they're going to be able to enter, and that means you have less chance to win these legendary chests. So keep the secret to yourself. Keep the mystery alive.
And Steve, I am disqualified, I know, because Steve's shared the secret, so I can tell you for a fact that it is a worthwhile legendary chest pack.
Yes. So you'll want to get these 3 legendary chests, and yeah, I'm very excited to be able to give this away. For more information, you can always write to us anywhere on social media. And now I'm going to tell you the secret word, the very first one. So get ready to write it down because you're going to want to keep these together, okay? The first word is A. It's not just a word, it's a single letter. But that's what it is. The first word is A. So that is one of the 5 words. So you'll want to know what that is. And yeah, so stay tuned, follow us, and find out what the secret phrase is. And you can be the winner of these 3 legendary chests. All right, let's move on with the show. Now is the time of the show where we'd only go into the event of the week. There is no actual event of the week during Tower Challenges, as the leaderboard prizes are based on the points from the Tower Challenge itself. As we discussed, so in Chapter 1, ranks 1 through 50, got a Maleficent Horn Stand, 1,000 EC, and 2 refreshers. Ranks 51 through 150 got 1,000 EC and 2 refreshers. And then you were able to get 2 refreshers all the way down to rank 750 with decreasing amounts of EC along the way, and then just decreasing EC after that. So I was very happy. I told you I did it. I made the top 50. I got the horn stand. It was my second set of horns. I feel like those are status symbols too.
Yeah.
Like I don't think that those should ever become available to purchase
totally
for
agree.
gems, because that, when you have that, it's very much a sense of pride. It's something you work really hard for. So I was happy to get that. Do you have a Maleficent horn stand?
I do, from the last Tower Challenge.
Very cool.
Yeah,
very cool.
I was very excited for that. I think I was at spot number 7.
Whoa, there you go.
But I stressed over that Tower Challenge. I gemmed. I bought cocoa. Yeah.
Well, sometimes you have to do a little bit to kind of boost yourself ahead. Gemming. If you have a bunch of cocoa at the end, and you gem a little bit at the end of a Tower Challenge to try to get the horn stand, I don't think there's absolutely nothing like a lot of people are gemming. But there's nothing wrong with that because if you want to buy a hat stand, you'd spend 50, 60 gems easy on a hat stand. So speeding up your tower, do it. If you want a horn stand, gem the end if you have the cocoa because it's a cool stand. Seeing the kids walking around with the hat.
It looks like they're going to topple over.
It's huge on their heads. But it's one of the cooler ones, and it really it's a feel-good stand. So, all right, and now in Chapter 2, the rewards are rank 1 through 10 is the Maleficent Horn Stand, 1,000 EC and 2 refreshers. Then only ranks 11 through 50 get 1,000 EC and 2 refreshers. And then you get 2 refreshers all the way down to rank 450, so it's, again, harder with decreasing amounts of currency along the way. So there you go. Those are the leaderboards. We won't know the leaderboard prizes for Chapter 3 until it comes around, but it's usually even harder. Usually like 1 through 5, I think it's the horn stand. It gets progressively harder as the challenge goes on. I always tell people you want to try to, if you really want the horn stand,
do it the first chapter.
Get Chapter 1 is the place to do it, and just kind of bang it out at the beginning. You have your characters are usually higher level. Just easier to kind of just push through it. So, all right, cool. Let's move on. This is a segment we have not had in probably 4 or 5 weeks. It's been a while. It's one of my favorite segments. I replaced the segment to do There's No Place Like Home, which was a cool segment. I actually have about half my characters back home now. I had them all out for a while as I was recovering from my surgery that I had. And I had a lot of extra time, but now I'm back at work. I don't have much extra time, so I have about half my characters back home. But and then we had a lot of content to talk about last week. So now we're going to bring it back. Is it worth it? Is It Worth It is a segment where we talk about gem characters and attractions. This week is actually one of my favorite attractions in the park, and is actually one of my favorite attractions at Walt Disney World. My daughter absolutely loved this ride. We had to skip the beginning of it because it was a little too scary for her. But, big note, if you have a little kid, what we're talking about here is
The
Haunted Mansion. If you have a little kid, you can actually go up to one of the ushers and let them, and there's like a secret word you could say, or basically just say like, my kid is scared, and they will bypass you.
Oh, from the room.
Past the stretching room.
Yeah, yeah.
And they will bring you basically straight to the ride. So that's what we did last year for my daughter. I think she'll be brave enough to do it this year. But she loved the ride. It's such a fun ride. It's a classic. There's hidden Mickeys. There's all sorts of things. Actually just redid the whole ghost part at the end.
Yeah, they did.
So it's really cool. I love this ride. Love this attraction. The cost is 150 gems. It has gone on sale before for the back to school sale. So it was half price at some point. I think I actually bought it when it was on sale last time. I bought everything that was available to me when they went on sale last time because half off.
Sounds like something I would do for sure.
Yeah, half off on these. It was like, okay, I got this. I got the parachute, the toy soldier.
Oh, the parachute drop.
Parachute drop. And there was one or two others that I got during then. But this was it. I didn't realize how amazing this attraction is. This attraction has a 4-hour collect time, which is very, very reasonable. And it collects the white and blue legendary fabric. It collects orange fabric, which is legendary. It collects Sally's ears and Oogie Boogie's ears. This was introduced during the Nightmare Before Christmas event. So it actually produced event currency at the time, and now just obviously, it was like, pumpkin currency or whatever it was. Now obviously it just produces magic. But, and that's also one of the reasons why it produces Sally ears and Oogie Boogie ears that you can get, which is great that you have an attraction that gives you ears for two characters, which are both hard to get. They, I believe that Oogie Boogies are epic, and Sally's, I believe, are rare. So that's awesome. But here's the kicker, right? You want Donald's Halloween costume? You want to go to Merlin's shop and waste all your elixir on fabric? I don't. I like getting free fabric. And especially for 150 gems, which is not a lot, you can get Donald's Halloween costume, which are the white and blue and the orange fabrics together. And you collect it. I don't remember how many they are. I think it's like 25 each, somewhere around there. But you get them, and boom, you have Donald's Halloween costume at no extra cost. It's like basically part of the attraction. Sure, it takes time, but if you think about 150 gems for an attraction and a costume, that it's ridiculous. The Mickey's tuxedo costume is 150 gems, I think, by itself, or 100 gems, or whatever it is. So this is a no-brainer there. I was not around for Easter last year. What it did say when I was researching it is that the white and blue fabric also is for Mickey's Easter costume.
Oh, man.
When it's available. I don't know. Maybe some people out there know and they can clarify. Hopefully when Easter comes around this year, which is not too far away, that, if you have this attraction, you'll be getting fabrics for free. So, yeah, I mean, it's just another great way thing. The size, it's a 12 by 12 plot, so it's not big. It's an average size. It's nothing clunky. It fits nicely into a corner, and it's got little bats flying around.
That's my favorite part.
We're looking at it right now. It's cool. Here, I'm going to hold it up. I'm going to hold up your screen here. Here we go. It's got little bats flying around it. I know it's all blurry. Sorry about that. But it's cool, and it looks just like the attraction at Walt Disney World.
Yeah, it has really cool animation with the purple kind of
glowing.
Yeah, and the tree. I don't know if you've noticed, like the tree bends and
it looks like a hand.
Yeah,
it's
awesome.
really well done. So for me, is it worth it? Yes. So this is an absolute yes. I would recommend this to any person who does it. Donald's Halloween costume is really worth it by itself.
Yes.
Because like during the Halloween event, he was a trick-or-treater. He got Coco. I'm sure that there's lots of things Donald's Halloween costume is good for. He actually has a pretty cool quest when he's in his thing, when he's in his thing where he can chase bats, right?
Yeah.
He chases the bats around.
Well, it is pirate costume.
Oh, is that the pirate?
Yeah.
I think there's one in his Halloween costume too.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm not an expert by any means in this game. I never said I was. But anyway, it's really cool. Absolute yes. Kathy, what do you think?
Kind of like Geeky Chick. Everything is worth it to me. But this, absolutely, it's worth it. And to your point, the fact that it collects fabric for Donald's Halloween costume. So Donald's Halloween costume, I'll share just a little side note. It has a special place in my heart because we were down at Disney World last year for the Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween party. And my son was dressed up as a pumpkin. And Donald was dressed up as a pumpkin. And I have the cutest picture of the two of them. So, I can't wait to... I actually have it ready to welcome, but I haven't pressed the trigger yet because of the magic. So yeah, absolutely worth it. It's totally worth it. I want all the attractions.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, yeah, it definitely gets an is it worth it? Yes, 100%. So cool. That's is it worth it? So we'll be back next week. I don't know what we're going to be doing. It's a mystery to everyone. Just like the legendary chests we're giving away. Is it worth it next week is a mystery as well. All right. Now it's time for everyone's favorite theme song. Feature report. Feature report. Feature report. Feature report is a segment where we talk about ideas or features we would like to see implemented into the game. All right. So we're going to start out with actually a tag team one here. Kathy was talking about something about getting her characters leveled. I forgot where the conversation went. But then I said, you know what would be an awesome idea? Queuing characters to level.
Yeah.
So, like, if you have a character that's like 24 hours, right? But like you're starting like an awkward time of the day. Like, it would be cool if you could pull out another character from like doing activities and just put them into the queue. So when that one character finishes, the next character just kind of starts.
Yeah.
Just like lines in Disney World. Mm-hmm. You're always going to have a line. Or even like, it'd be cool. Like they could do like a Disney World where like there's like a 5-minute wait.
Yeah.
Like a 10-minute wait where like you could put a character in queue, and depending on the time, like it could be like an hour wait. So your character finishes, and then 1 hour later the character in queue starts.
Right. So at 1 a.m. you can actually have someone that starts. That would be fantastic.
Because you always try to time your things. You're like, okay, well, I'll do an 8-hour now and a 16-hour then so that it's 24 hours. Or if I do a 4 now and then a 2, and you have to like do all this planning and plotting and stuff. And a lot of times it's like, let's say it's like 10 in the morning. And you're like, I can't do this 16-hour level now.
Yeah, no.
It's such a waste because if I do it, then
you're losing the whole rest of the night.
It finishes at 2 in the morning. You're losing all those hours, or whatever it is. And so queuing someone would make it feel not so bad. So I think putting a character in queue is a pretty cool idea.
I like that idea, yeah.
And maybe like, you could even change like the queue rides. Like, well, I guess it's always in the castle, but you could change the queue times. I don't know. It would be something cool. I don't know. Just an idea, right? That's what Feature Report's all about.
Yep.
All right. The next Feature Report is from Victoria. She says, what if Disney Magic Kingdoms brought back the friends list? And do like other games where we have a wish list and our friends can gift us those items.
Yeah, that's awesome. I saw her post about that. And there was some commentary back and forth about how, well, is that really a viable option? Because, don't you max up and then stop dropping tokens? But you pointed out that now, especially with the chests and the common tokens, that now you acquire actually more than you need in some cases. So you absolutely could do that.
Yeah. The only exception that we found to that was at level 10. Because at level 10 you stopped collecting. So so if like someone needed something from Mickey and Friends and all your characters are level 10, you couldn't gift them anything.
Yeah.
But anyone that you're still technically working on that you can collect tokens for from the chest, because every single chest has tokens you can collect for characters from, you can have surplus tokens.
Do you need a grub?
Yeah. You know what I don't need anymore are Beast Carabat tokens. Okay, those are just as bad as the grubs. So, but yeah, no, lots of grubs. So yeah, plenty to give out for anyone who wants to level to Pumbaa.
Yeah. Well, and I know that the other comment was, wouldn't it even be cooler if we could actually then go into our friends' kingdoms? Now, I'm sure Gabeloft would have a bit of a challenge trying to figure out how the logistics of that would work, but would be kind of cool.
Well, the original Facebook social media was that you could click on a friend's kingdom and look at it.
Okay.
And I believe you could actually, there would be some buildings you could click on and earn magic.
Oh.
And then you could bounce back out. But that was the extent of it. It went away. I don't know why it went away. I'd love an answer to why it went away, and I'd love an answer to why it's not back. Why with a game that cries out so much for social, you know, and especially would benefit from having people be social, why is there no social media, social aspect to it?
Be cool if they actually had a different visitor board for like your friend's visitor board, so you could like a little bit of pride and competition of like, I've had 20 friends visit me. Wait, no, I've had 100.
Yeah, like that would be either in so many games there are local boards and global boards, you know, and there'd be so many other awesome features. I mean, there's so many feature reports we talked about, like having badges or pins. You know, we talked about different pins.
Oh, the pins! That's a great idea.
You could have a pin board on Main Street.
Oh, and then I love it.
If you participated in different events, you'd get, like, for Princess the Frog, you get a Princess and the Frog pin. And then your friends could see your pin boards, and you could rearrange. Yes, there's so many things we've talked about already. But anyway.
I have some I have some old podcasts I clearly have to go back and listen to.
Yeah, that was an old one, the pin board. That was in one of the probably in the first 10 episodes.
Wow.
And I love that idea. That was one of my favorite ideas from the beginning.
Yeah.
Because we had talked about it, about just like putting something there, and then someone had gone in and elaborated on how they were, when they go, they're a pin trader.
Yeah.
You know, I've never gotten into the pin trading, but I've seen the people walking around with the sashes.
I have one or two.
Yeah, I bet you do. And you know, it's pretty cool. And like, there's the rare ones and the ultra rares and all these things. So it would be cool to have those, just like having, you know, Disney Magic Kingdom's anniversary hot stand.
Yeah, or the billboard.
Yeah, the billboard. Everyone wants one of those. All right. So the next one from Blake. Shouldn't the hot cocoa stands drop hot cocoa for tower challenges? Duh. Yes. I totally think that they should. There was some conversation about this. Now, frozen chests didn't like me very much. Okay, most chests don't like me very much. So I actually have 8 hot cocoa stands. So I think that would be a little ridiculous. I agree. Like, as much as I would love for them every 8 hours to drop hot cocoa for me,
should be a cap.
You know, like so I think someone had said, like, I think Joseph in our group said maybe cap it to like only 1 being allowed to drop it. Or only allow 1 in the kingdom. I don't know how we would do it, but I think that hot cocoa stands should drop hot cocoa.
Yeah.
If the Reflections of China can drop hot cocoa during the Mulan event, then why can't a hot cocoa stand drop hot cocoa?
I love it. I think it's a fantastic idea.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. All right. Well, if you have a feature you'd like to see implemented, please write in using any of our various social media platforms and let us know. Your idea could be on next week's show. All right, now it's time to go around the community. This week we have some questions from the community, so I'm going to read a couple of those right now. The first one is from Drewbert. He is at DrewBaka1313 on Twitter. He says, do you expect Beast and his attraction to have an increased cost of EC like the last Tower Challenge? So, DrewBaka, yes, I do. We were talking about how the price of the characters went up, and they were 1,750 EC, both the same in Chapter 1 and Chapter 2, which is different. I would expect Beasts to be 1,750 EC if they're going to keep it consistent, if not more. I believe Mulan was 2,000. Or something like that. I don't know. She was a lot.
Yeah, she was a lot.
And people were really thrown off by that. So yes, I would absolutely expect Beast to at least be 1,750. I mean, they wouldn't make him less. And more. And then the other part here, an increased cost. Yeah. So and his attraction as well. So yes, I think the attraction will go up. So it was 750 in Chapter 2. Chapter 1 was 500. I would expect I guess it's Beast Castle, to be 1,000 event currency. That's just my guess. All right, next question from Andrea says, what piece of Disney content do you think is missing from the game and needs to be corrected ASAP? Kathy.
So now I'm gonna blank on the name again. We talked about this. The joy and sadness, or joy.
Inside Out.
Yes, Inside Out. I think they could do so much with that. Those characters. They could have really cool attractions. It's one of my favorite movies, more recent movies, certainly. So I think that would be a lot of fun. But I do that a lot. It's like, what characters could they add? Coco, right? There's their whole thing.
That would be a fun Halloween event.
Yeah, really would be.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think if I had to vote, I probably would vote for Inside Out right now.
Inside Out. I like Inside Out a lot, but and I've said this every time someone asks this on the podcast. My number one most wanted thing in this game is Moana.
Oh, yeah.
I really want Moana in the game. I think that my daughter would freak out if Moana was introduced to the game. I think the characters are probably the most fun characters. You have Moana, you have Maui, you have Tamatoa, it could be your bad guy. You have Hey, you have Pua, you know. Yeah, it would be hard to do Tafiti and Taka.
Yeah, that's true.
Taka could be like a final boss, I guess, but but still, you have so many fun characters. You could even, and if you wanted to add, like, if they were gonna make 2 rows and make it a full event, you could have her grandmother.
Yes.
And then you could even have her in manta ray form. Yeah. You know.
Or that could be like a costume.
That could be a costume.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so much they could do with it. I'm sure that Moana's on their radar at some point.
Like, Steve, stop talking about it.
Yeah, exactly. But that's what I think. All right. Lauren asks, what are your favorite attractions, concessions, favorite tasks to send your characters on? And then what do you think will come after this TC? Do you think a break or another event? Kathy.
Well, I think my favorite, something that I've, as a new player, I was very, like, must advance, and I never really stopped to appreciate the graphics and the animation, and that's something that I've actually learned from my son, right? Like, he'll be like, here, you can have my phone, go collect, and then, like, an hour later, he's still looking at the graphics, and I realized, because it's really cool. So my favorite is when all of the dwarves are lined up at the river washing themselves, and, like, Dopey is blowing water out of his ears. Like, I could watch that animation for a half hour and be happy. So not necessarily an attraction, but one of my favorites.
Okay, and what do you think's coming after the Tower Challenge?
That's tough, like, because there's so much content coming from Disney this year. They're making another Frozen movie. They're going to release Lion King again. But Toy Story's next summer.
No, Toy Story's this summer.
This summer.
There's so many Disney movies coming. There's 11 movies in 12 months. Right.
So it's so hard to guess what they're going to latch onto. So I think, clearly Disney and Gameloft worked together to time all of these releases and the launches. Wreck-It Ralph, perfect example of how well timed it was.
Dumbo coming out just now.
Dumbo, exactly. So I really have no guesses given just the plethora of Disney movies and whatnot coming out. How about you?
Well, if you want to follow the pattern of how things go, the Tower Challenge is going to end. We're going to get 2 weeks off, and then an event is going to begin. Maybe 3 weeks if we're lucky. We had the longest break that I remember was after Wreck-It Ralph. I feel like we had like almost like 3 or 4 weeks off after that. But that was like a mega event. That was like a super mega event.
That event went on forever.
Forever. But no, I feel like another event is coming. I don't know what the next movie to come out is. I don't know if it's Aladdin.
Aladdin, right?
That's due out next. Disney movies 2019. Let's do it a quick. Sorry for the noise here. I mean, I'm not counting the Avenger stuff. I mean, that would be something interesting too. It would be to have some Star Wars content come out, or things like that. I mean, Captain Marvel. So Captain Marvel came out. Dumbo comes out on Friday. Yeah. Then there's Penguins. Avengers Endgame. It comes out. I don't know. Maybe they'll do a big Avengers event. That would be very interesting. if they brought the Avengers to the universe. Then there's Aladdin, though. Aladdin is May 24th. So I could definitely see 2 weeks. You give us 2 weeks off. That's taking you to the middle of April. And then you could have a 4-week tower challenge that would bring you to the middle of May, right before Aladdin releases. I don't know how they would do an Aladdin event, though.
Yeah.
You know, it would be more like an Aladdin Tower Challenge, I think.
Yeah, because they already have characters.
Right, with like everyone was saying like the Sultan or someone would be added, but Aladdin's coming out next. Toy Story 4 is going to get something huge.
Yeah.
I don't care that they already have as many characters as they have. They're going to get something huge. It's not just going to be a Tower Challenge for Toy Story 4. It's going to be super hyped. Same thing with The Lion King.
I think so too.
And they're only a month apart. I mean, it's ridiculous. So there's a lot of good stuff coming up. Anyway, that's it. I don't want to go too much longer into this. All right. Victoria says, actually, Victoria's question we kind of already answered about what characters we'd want to be seeing added. And then Danielle asks, which character is taking you the longest to welcome, and how long did it take? All right, for me, I would say, I mean, I can't really count Wendy because she's just kind of been sitting in queue, but she probably took the longest to collect for me. I think she took about 3 weeks, maybe 4 weeks to collect all of her tokens to welcome. There was another character that took me a really long time to welcome to, and I'm stuck on it. What about you? Do you know off the top of your head?
Barbosa and Tia Dalma have taken a while. Yeah, they had a lot of tokens to collect with few people who could actually get them.
Yeah, Tia took a while for sure.
Yeah. But I'm also, sometimes I speed things up a little bit. So I might not be the best person to ask that question. But certainly I let Barbosa go. I let Tia Dalma go. And just when I got them, particularly given how pricey their magic price tag is.
Yes. Well, listen, you're getting close to
well, that's
slow things down.
Kathy. I took your advice weeks ago to do that.
Slow it down. The light's at the end of the tunnel. Let's not make it brighter than it should be. All right. Cool. Well, thank you for your questions, everyone. I appreciate it. If you have any more questions, you can always hit us up on our social media, and we'll read it on the show. This is where I talk about some other things in the kingdom, but this week we kind of covered it as we went along, as far as concession stands that were available and different things that you could purchase. So that was already talked about. We did get 2 new 5-star ratings, so thank you so much to the people who rated us. We did not get any new 5-star reviews in the United States, but what I learned this week is that the people who listen to us around the world, and I gotta say, it's pretty awesome that we have all these people listening to us from around the world. When I look at my statistics and I can see the different countries that are listening to my show, it's pretty amazing. So thank you to all of our international listeners. I wound up getting a lot of reviews that I did not read because when they leave a review, it only leaves it in their country's iTunes store. Yeah. It doesn't, I can't see it in the United States iTunes store, which is where I check. So I actually found a website that I signed up for that allows me to see my reviews from all over the world. So I want to catch up and say thank you to everyone for the reviews. So we're going to go back to last year. So October 11th, Sweet Dreams Baby wrote, interesting DMK podcast, informative and diverse range of content related to the gameplay of Disney Magic Kingdoms. That he or she is from Australia. Thank you from here to the Down Under. We appreciate you down there. Another Australia, Gypsy Girl from Australia on the 14th of October wrote, great little podcast for hints and news on gameplay for Disney Magic Kingdoms. I've been playing for a number of months, and today's second episode let me in on a secret about obtaining magic every day.
There you go.
It has been staring me right in the face, LOL. I look forward to more great hints and insights in the future. Now we travel to the United Kingdom for Happy Heidi. She writes, love this channel, can't recommend enough. Thank you so much, Happy Heidi. Then also in the UK from Oppie, Love the show and the game. If I could, I would give it 1,000,000 stars. Thank you so much. You can only give up to 60 in the game, and they do nothing.
2 gems. Wah.
Awesome. From Canada, the Great White North, from JB X Simpsons player, he writes, awesome. This is awesome. I've been looking for a podcast like this for a while now. It's so cool that Steve interviews and talks about people on the Disney Magic Kingdom Facebook group. Makes it feel like the world ain't so big after all. Definitely recommended for any Kingdoms player. All right. From Singapore, which I just learned today is the most expensive city to live in the whole world. So thanks for tuning in, and thanks for being able to afford an apartment. From Fruffy Barnard, amazing podcast. I love the voice of the host. Well, thank you. And you can tell he puts a lot of effort into gathering information for the players. Some tips I've gathered are really useful and have helped my game. So thank you so much. Back to the UK, to Rael97. Good morning. Absolutely loving this podcast as a new player. I'm watching through the old podcasts and learning really valuable tips as a new player. I love the jokes being thrown around and how helpful the community is on Facebook. Would love to wish yourself, your daughter, and guests and all viewers a magical day and success on the Disney Magic Kingdom's adventures. Keep doing what you do. Keep doing what you love. Best wishes, Ryan. Well, Ryan, thank you so much. That was an awesome review. I really appreciate the time you took to write that. And finally, the last one that I missed is from Drag21 from Canada. And she writes, stumbled across this, the title is A Must-Listen Podcast for Kingdomers. Stumbled across this podcast by accident. I'm so excited to finally have someone talk about the game with. Even if it was really just me listening to someone talk about Disney Magic Kingdoms and responding despite knowing they can't hear me. I can hear you. Steve has great info and tips about the game and a steady supply of dad jokes. His rotating guests add new elements every week to keep it fresh. I learned something every episode, so I've gone back to the beginning and I'm working my way through them all. So glad to have discovered this podcast. And then I found the Facebook group too. Thanks for building a supportive and fun community for our DMKers, Steve. You're very welcome. And thanks for these awesome reviews from everyone around the world, no matter where you are. Thank you so much. Maybe that will be a new segment, is Around the World, where I'll talk about a country that listens to me and I'll say something nice about their country.
Well, I think it would be cool if you maybe posted the stats on Facebook. It would be cool to see the listeners and give your stats of number of people by country.
Yeah, I could do that. It is mostly, I know the United States is 1, Canada's 2, and I don't know after that. But
yeah, the broad range of everyone.
I could do that. It would be very interesting to see that information. All right. Well, that just about does it. I want to give a big shout out this week to Lauren for being this week's Spotlight contributor to the group. Thank you so much. You've been really active, and I just want to say thank you for putting in that time and being an awesome member of our community. Kathy.
Yeah, I'll give a quick shout out to my mom. So she's the one that let me be here. She's watching my son, so a shout out to him as well.
She also did let you be here.
Yes,
literally.
Yes, but that is true too. There's the dad joke for you. So yeah, my mom's actually a player. She's probably 152 days, so she's probably 147 days. So she's not too far behind me in both days play and content. And my son loves the game, loves the show, or loves the game, and he will love the show because I'm going to let him listen to it.
What's up, B? All right, awesome. Next week's show, good friend of the community, Carrie Schumann, joins me. She is a huge Dumbo lover, so we will wrap up the Tower Challenge, and then we will also, actually the Tower Challenge won't be quite done in a week. We'll be almost done, so we'll be wrapping up at least what we have the Tower Challenge, but we'll also be going into the Dumbo content, as she is a huge fan of that. We'll be talking about the characters and how things are coming along there. We'd love to also hear your thoughts about the Dumbo content, so write into the show and let me know. If you want to be more involved with the show, you can follow us on Twitter at @ATKPodcast and like our Facebook page at facebook.com/ATKPodcast. Here you will find out before anyone else about breaking news that we hear, information on contests and giveaways, which we're having one right now, and when new shows are published, and of course my ramblings and photos from my day-to-day playing. The show's Facebook group is up, and it's a great way to easily interact with me and other fans of the show to talk about our favorite game. The link to our group will be in the show notes and can also be found on the show's main Facebook page. Also, you can write into the show. Our email address is aroundthekingdompodcast@gmail.com. Let us know what you think about the show, what's working, what's terrible, or any other topic you want to write in about, or even if you just want to say hi. We are now on YouTube. If you want to watch the show and see me and my awesome guests, especially when they're sitting right next to me, please head on over and subscribe to our channel, like the video, and smash the bell to get notified when a new show goes live. The link to our channel will be in the show notes. If you want to help support the show, please head on over to iTunes, subscribe to the podcast, and leave us a 5-star review. Doing this is quick and easy, costs you nothing, but helps us greatly to be seen by other people so they can enjoy the show also. All 5-star reviews from all countries will be read at the end of each episode. Listening to the show is all we could really ask for, but if you do want to help support us in another way, please check out our Patreon page at patreon.com/aroundthekingdom. We're more than halfway towards our first goal, to help the production of the show, and it's also a great way to show your support for about $1 an episode or a cup of coffee a month. All Patreons will get a special shout out at the beginning of each episode. Again, it's patreon.com/aroundthekingdom. The link will be in the show notes.
And I can attest it's super simple, guys. Easy, hooks up to your PayPal if you want it. So, yeah.
Very cool. It's good. I actually am a Patreon for a girl. Her name is Josie Wos, and she reads Disney books as bedtime stories.
Oh, sweet.
So at night we listen to them. My daughter listens to them to help calm down, and I am a Patreon of hers. So. All right. Well, thank you everyone for joining us this week. I am Steve Squirrel. For myself and Kathy, we hope you have a great night, and we will see you around the kingdom next week.
Have a magical evening, everyone.
Take care. Bye-bye.